Yo, what's going on? It's Fuego here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys the best decks to upgrade in Clash Royale. And these aren't the fanciest decks, it's not the craziest decks, but these are the decks that have taught me a lot about the game and also helped me push up the ranks. So these are going to be definitely decks I recommend whenever you're starting out. And I'm looking for decks that have been strong for a while. I don't want to give you decks that have just like been strong one meta and then weak the next. Those are not great starter decks, of course. And I'm also looking for decks that are beginner friendly. I want to look for decks that have a lot of commons, a lot of rares, a lot of cards that are just easy to upgrade and very accessible for the player base. And on top of that, I also want decks that have possibilities for future improvements and upgrades. Maybe like down the road you can add a champion that would make the deck a lot stronger. I think that's very good, especially for decks whenever you're starting out. So that's kind of the criteria for today's decks. And starting off first here, we have Mortar Bait. We're actually going up against Elixir Golem Recruits as well. Quite the matchup to start us off here. So, you know what? I think Mortar Bait is a very, very strong starter deck and honestly super underrated. I feel like it's been getting a lot more respect recently, but still, I mean, Mortar Bait is a seriously strong deck at many areas of the game, whether you're low, high, middle, really doesn't matter. This deck is strong. And one of the reasons that I think people might enjoy playing Mortar Bait is that it really does tailor to the people who like to outsmart their opponents. If you like to track your opponent's elixir, you like to know when they're low, or maybe you like to keep track of their cycle and knowing when their spells are out of hand, you will love this deck and you will have a lot of success with it. So we're going to be trying to beat this Elixir Golem deck here. Our opponent does have the Evo XE, so things could get a little bit scary if we're not careful. And also something to mention, this is going to go for all the decks today. All the decks will be running Evos, but the Evos are not important to the deck's success. Like, you can definitely win without the Evos. And like, even this deck has one of the stronger evolutions, which is Evo Mortar, but it still does very well with the normal Mortar. And as you can see, it looks like our opponent is actually struggling to handle our bait here. We get a ton of damage on the right, and I'm going to keep that pressure up with my Spear Goblins right now. He goes with the Tesla to defend, that's fine. I think we'll just go Fireball plus Log here to take out this Xe, hopefully. Nice, okay, Evo Mortar should give us... Do we get a connection? Oh no, not quite. That's unfortunate, but there's only 20 seconds left. If we're able to take this tower, which it is within Fireball range, we should be in the money here. Let's go gang down low in case he logs. Okay, he logged on defense, that's perfect for us. Knight to Kite here, let's log back this mini Pekka as well, and I think we're in the money here, guys, in the first match against Elixir Golem Recruits. He drops the Well Played, I'll drop the Fireball, and man, that's gonna do it. And like I said, this is a great starter deck, highly recommend, especially if you're a little more sophisticated in your thinking when you're playing Clash. In the next match here, and I'm with the second best deck to upgrade, and that's going to be the notorious Hog Earthquake, man. This deck is known for its super strong defense, and rightfully so. This is a very, very nice deck, a very great starter deck as well, and hold on, is our opponent running Hog Earthquake as well? We might be in a mirror matchup here, but either way, kind of like I was saying, this deck is very, very great for beginners, highly recommend. Because it helps you learn a lot about defense and also about kind of correct placements and just how to play Cycle in general. It's a huge aspect in terms of just understanding, you know, I feel like early on a lot of the thought process goes into offense and not so much defense, but this deck definitely shows that. And in terms of my building, personally, I'm running the Tesla for a few reasons. First off, Tesla helps out with air defense, and on top of that, the Evo Tesla just got released for free to everybody who was playing in the past week or so. So shout out to the Clash Royale devs for that, that's huge. But you could run the cannon if you want. I would just kind of recommend running the Tesla, but once again, it's personal preference. And another possible upgrade to this deck is actually the Mighty Miner, which our opponent is running, funny enough. The Mighty Miner is very good because it gives you the 3-card cycle, and it allows you to get a lot of Earthquakes down in the last minute of the game, which is such an OP strategy in Clash. But yeah, so let's try and win this mirror matchup here. Could be a little bit difficult because, like I said, our opponent does have the 3-card cycle, but we'll give it our best shot here. So I would like to get an Earthquake on top of tower here, so I will wait before I go in with my Hog until we have 7 Elixir. And let's see, does he play anti-EQ? He does, okay. So the placement that he just played right there, I could not hit that Tesla with my... I could not hit that with my Earthquake hitting the tower and the Tesla, so he actually played a very, very good job there. I'm going to go Log here on the Mighty, and then we can go last second Ice Spirit to pull it. And let's get our Hog down here one more time. He goes for the Hog himself. I do have the Evo Tesla, which is going to help out, and Hog gets a shot. So he went in aggressive with a Hog Earthquake, 7 Elixir, and because of that, he was not able to defend. This matchup is all about managing Elixir correctly, so let's go for our Firecracker here, and I'm actually going to cycle back to another Hog. I could even predict his high Tesla, so let's predict that right now, see if we get it. No, he plays it low. Okay, so this guy's definitely a ball knower. He knows what he's doing. I went for a prediction on top of his Tesla, but this man was ready for it. Let's get down our next Firecracker, and I need to get back to my Tesla before he goes in here. Nice. Okay, we can log and then go Tesla last second. I'm going to Tesla high so that he can't get Firecracker Splash off of it. That would not be ideal. And that Hog should not get a shot. And wait, can we block his Firecracker? Oh, Firecracker might hit. No, Firecracker doesn't hit the tower. Okay, we're in the money. We're in the money. I think he's probably going to play his high Tesla, but that's all right. We'll just live with it, and then we'll get our Evo Tesla down late. Last second stun there. Perfect. And we're not in a bad situation, but we're not in a great one either. Have we outcycled his Tesla, though? I think we may have. He might be in a little bit of trouble. Let's go for the log here last second. Is he able to get a Tesla down? He's not. Let's go. The pre-log looked like it hit us either Spirit or Skeletons, and now we are up a fat bit of damage. So we'll practice the King Tower activation here, and we're looking good. We can't throw this game away, though. He's setting up his 3-card cycle. He knows what's up. He's probably going to predict my Firecracker as well. Okay, he doesn't. Okay, interesting. Okay, this is actually a good Earthquake opportunity. Oh, we don't hit the Firecracker, though. That would have been beautiful if we would have hit the Firecracker. And look at this, guys. This is the 3-card, exactly the 3-card cycle I was talking about. This is where things get scary. I have to Earthquake on defense here. We're going to eat a ton of damage, but hopefully we don't lose the game off of it. Okay, Tesla. No, the Tesla dies. Okay, are we able to get Evo Tesla down? We're not. Okay. I'm going to let that Hog go. We're going to eat a ton of damage, and we're going to try and get it back. Because that's really all we can do, man. Our opponent had a great sequence, catching us off guard with the well-played 3-card cycle there. And now we're going to have to make a quite a comeback here. So, okay, just maybe we can get a Firecracker down. I'm going to spam another Hog Rider here. He does predict the Firecracker, but hold on. Wait, we can go Earthquake here as well. Log 2. Earthquake doesn't hit the Tesla, and our Evo Firecracker dies. Okay, that's not great. We do have the Evo Tesla in hand, which could bail us out. Let's play that up high here. Perfect. Okay, good Evo Tesla. That's going to stun everything. Hog to pressure. He's getting super close to Earthquake range here, which is not good. But yo, we hit the Tesla. Hold on, pre-log for maybe a Spirit. That's a free Hog shot. He can't stop that. Nice. Okay, let's spam here. Firecracker possibly. We catch his Hog. Okay, let's go high Tesla here. Hopefully his Firecracker doesn't hit the tower. It doesn't. Okay, log plus EQ. He's going to spell cycle us out. Can we get a Firecracker on top of tower? I don't think so. And yeah, looks like that's going to be GG's. Well played to the opponent here. Super close match, but at the end of the day, it's a very good deck. And honestly, the fact that we played that close and he had the 3-card cycle, I still think shows the power of this free-to-play deck. The third deck I recommend upgrading is going to be Giant Graveyard, man. There's absolutely no way I could let this fall out of the top 5. It's just such an easy-to-play deck. Like, if you're looking for a deck to instantly push you up 500 trophies, this is the deck for you, man. I 100% recommend playing this deck if you're early on in the game, because it really does give you a ton of wins and a ton of just, like, confidence in your gameplay. Now, I will say, one thing that is common for Giant Graveyard players is to hit a plateau. A plateau is whenever you're not really gaining any trophies, you're kind of just win-loss, win-loss. And a lot of that becomes the problem whenever your opponent understands how to play against Giant Graveyard and kind of just some tactics that make it hard for beginners. But with that said, of course, this deck can work at any level. So the way a new player can overcome a plateau when playing Giant Graveyard is understanding when they should defend and when not to defend. Oftentimes with this deck, since we're not running a cycle deck, right? Like, this is not a deck that's meant to sit back and defend all game. This is a deck that's meant to push. Oftentimes you run into scenarios where it's better to eat damage on your tower or even lose the whole thing and just form a huge offensive push that your opponent has no elixir to defend. So once you kind of understand the concept of sacking and attacking and just when to give up damage in general, that is whenever you will truly break past the plateau that you might be facing as a Giant Graveyard player, of course. So one of the reasons why this deck is so easy to play is because Giant Graveyard the Bridge is an insane combo. Matter of fact, I'm going to go for it right now and show you just that. So I noticed we were up a few elixirs, so I figured I'd go in Giant Graveyard. We also had the minions supporting as well, which as you'll see will be a little bit of a nuisance for him. And even though all in all this guy did a good job defending, we still get like what, like 2,000, 3,000 damage off that push? Like, that is the power and simplicity of Giant Graveyard at its finest. I'm going to even get an Evo Musketeer down just to snipe here. Oh no, he actually blocks me from hitting through to that XE. Well played. And because of that, we're probably going to eat a few graveyard swing, or Pekka swings rather, but not too bad. And see, even though we went in pretty aggressive with our giant graveyard, we still come out on top. I would love to push in here again, but that's definitely not the play. Let's see if we can maybe kill this Xe first, though, so he can't counter with it. Perfect. Okay, Xe is basically dead at this point. I'm just going to get it off the map. Perfect. Okay, nice arrows as well. And, okay, he does go for a fireball, but he spends a ton of elixir there. He will have enough for a cannon, but can he defend the graveyard? I don't think so. We even have the Evo Snowball as well to pick up the Xe. And obviously you don't need the Evo Snowball in this deck, but as you can see, it is such a good evolution to pair. And he's getting pretty low on damage. All we really need to do right now is get back to one more graveyard, and that should probably secure the game. We're going to go in with the super solid great bowler plus guards on defense. Such a strong defense. And what's the question here? All right, let's go Muskie. Can we snipe the Xe? That would be beautiful. No, we cannot. That's all right, though. I'm actually going to go naked graveyard here. This is going to be super annoying for this guy to deal with because he literally can't let like any damage get through. We're going to kite these X's. I'm going to snowball as well, and that's going to be GG's. Well played. He spent too much on offense, couldn't defend the graveyard, and now you can see why Giant Graveyard is so strong even against a Pekka deck like our opponent had. With the fourth and my personal favorite deck, we're going to be running some Giant Skeleton Royal Giant. And this deck is surprisingly strong, especially even in like beginning and mid-tier ladder, because a lot of people just don't face this deck too often and don't know exactly how to defend it. While Royal Giant isn't like an uncommon win condition by any means, the fact that we pair the Giant Skeleton in this deck, while being easy to play, it also catches a lot of opponents off guard, and that's the main reason I really like this deck. And, you know, this deck is slightly more expensive, I will note that. We're obviously running the Hunter and the Giant Skeleton in terms of epics, and then we do have the Fisherman, which is a legendary, and I think it might be the only legendary I've included in this video. But the point is that the Fisherman is such an important card to run with Royal Giant that I figured we should even add it in the free-to-play basic upgrade version, because it's so important to have, and you will not regret upgrading your Fisherman and putting all the extra cards into that. I promise you that. But with that said, we're facing a kind of like Mortar Bait deck here, which typically Mortar Bait is a pretty bad matchup for Royal Giant, but we'll see what we can do here, of course. I do love the Zappies in this deck. For a rare card, these Zappies have such great defensive utility. They're going to be your best friends whenever you're defending super large pushes. Paired with the Hunter, while you don't need the Evo Hunter is super great at just shutting down all sorts of pushes, which we love. This deck also is very good for beginners because it has a nice balance between cycle management, because it's such an expensive deck, but also like a great beatdown aspect as well. And okay, our opponent's going in pretty aggressive here. Hopefully we can get a tank down from this Mortar in time. And yeah, that should be a dead Mortar, so very good defense right there. We'll definitely take that. And basically the push you want to formulate with this deck is a Giant Skeleton in front of your Royal Giant. If you can get that down, it's going to be super hard for your opponent to stop, and you're going to be looking pretty clean. And in terms of upgrades for this deck, I would recommend placing the Monk in place of the Giant Skeleton if you have the resources, because the Monk is not only cheaper, it's a champion, which means it gives you the 3-card cycle, and the fact that it can reflect spells and even some buildings is just super valuable, so definitely recommend that. But in the meantime here, we actually do have a nice like Giant Skeleton RG push. Unfortunately, it looks like the Evo Dart Goblin is going to be able to knock that down for the most part, but he's going to overspend on elixir here, as we can see, and we're just going to be able to set up with our next Royal Giant push. So honestly, not scared about that at all. And this time, he will not have the Evo Dart Goblin in hand to bail him out, because man, that card is quite the bailout, to be fair. So yeah, looks like Cannon Card's going to go down here very nicely, and I could even stick in a Giant Skeleton in front of this, which I think I'm going to do. Let's get our Fisherman down as well, just to pull everything into our Giant Skeleton, and now he's in some massive trouble. I'll take the highest value log you've probably seen today, and our Giant Skeleton's still alive. RG, can we make it to the tower? I don't know if we'll be able to. Mortar is such a strong defensive unit, and yeah, honestly, he defends that pretty dang well. But as you will notice, we have both of our Evos in hand, so I'm not too worried about this situation. Let's drop that Giant Skeleton here. We do have the Evo RG in hand, and can we break through? That is the question. You're starting to see why Mortar's kind of a tough matchup to break through, just because Mortar does a surprising lot, but yo, he missed the pool. Yo, hold on, that's huge. That's honestly game-winning damage already. Evo RG shredding everything. Giant Skeleton Bomb makes it to the tower, and one push is all it takes, baby. GG, well played to Mortar Bait, but that shows just how powerful a Skeleton Giant in front of the RG can be. In the last match here, and this is the very best deck that I would suggest new players upgrade because this deck is insane, man. This Drill Poison deck works at every single possible place, especially top ladder. It's one of the best decks that people can run in the game right now. And you know, I knew I wanted to make a Goblin Drill deck in here, and it was hard to pick the exact one. Because Drill works in a lot of variety of decks, and you can run a lot of different support units with it. But I went with this exact deck because it's super free to play, man. All we have a Goblin Drill and a Poison, and that's basically it. Other than that, everything else is rare and common, so this deck is very upgrade friendly, very free to play friendly as well, so highly recommend. Almost no reason to not have this deck, at least somewhat strong levels, excuse me. So very, very good deck. No champions, no legendaries, nothing like that. And on top of that, this deck works very well by itself, but you can also upgrade to a Mighty Miner if you want that 3-card champion cycle as well. But the reason this deck works so well is not only does it have strong defense, but it also has crazy strong offense. Unlike Hog EQ, where some matchups it's almost impossible to break through, Drill Poison is guaranteed damage every time that drill lands, and then the poison does continuous damage to their troops and their towers. So oftentimes, like, it's rare to find a matchup where you can't get good damage from your Drill Poison. Promise you that. And, you know, some people might be like, yo, Fuego, why aren't we running the Evo Drill in this deck? Like, isn't Drill the win condition? Shouldn't we run it? But I actually disagree with that. Evo Drill was very strong, but it's received a lot of nerfs over time. And it's just, like, it's obviously a good, like, every evolution will be a good card, but it just doesn't provide the same value that other evolutions do. So personally, I do not recommend running it, so that's the reason why I'm not today, and I would suggest you guys do the same. Whether you run an Evo Ice Spirit, Evo Tesla, Evo Snowball like I am, just run something else. Do not run the Evo Drill. It is just not great compared to the other evolutions in the game. But okay, so it looks like we're going up against a Bridge Spam deck here, which is like a dream matchup for a Drill player. The reason I say that is because Bridge Spam tries and eats off bad defensive decks, but that is not what we got here, man. We have Knight, Guards, Tesla. We have just about every weapon you could ask for when trying to defend a spammy deck like our opponent has here. So we've done a pretty good job on defense so far, and we're going to try our best to keep this up here. And I can tell you already, our Evo Snowball is going to be a pain for this guy. If he ever drops like a Pekka or anything just like that, I'm going to just drop my Evo Snowball. The Wizard might help out a little bit, but even that is still like free 600 damage, man. So much. I'll definitely let this Wizard go because I know that damage is not going to be impactful to me, and I'd rather save up for this big push that he's looking to make. So as long as I save my Guards for the Pekka lane, Ice Spirit to slow down the Battle Ram, I mean, we're really just playing textbook defense right now, and it's working out perfectly for us. And also, I know this deck doesn't look like it has a ton of air support, but it has a lot of air support kind of built in. You have the Tesla, which is obviously a very strong air card. You have the Snowball, which does a great job pushing back cards like Balloons and Skeleton Dragons and all that. And even the Drill can help you if you're trying to kite maybe an opposite lane balloon to your Tesla. So I really do have a lot of answers here. Oops, 20% battery. That one's my bad. I need to charge my phone in. Our opponent gets a little bit of a connection, but once again, man, we have so much of a lead because Drill is just insanely difficult to stop that it really doesn't matter. So I think we'll set up with a pre-Tesla here one more time, and we're just going to set up for this next defense. And one reason I think this, like I said, this deck is way better than Hog, or not way better, but it is better than Hog Earthquake just because of the guaranteed damage you basically get in every matchup. It's insane. So let's see here. So we're getting into triple elixir. This is like the craziest time to defend, but I'm still confident in my ability. Even with these Evo Wizards, everything he's got coming down, I'm really not even that scared. We add the Evo Snowball on top of that, which is just like a great defensive Evo, on top of the fact that it gives you a ton of damage on offense a lot of the time. So let's, honestly, I think I'm going to Evo Snowball this because that might be enough to win the game just right off that. Look at that, man. That's so much damage. Goblin's helping us out as well, and now he's within a few poisons, but I don't even think we're going to need it. 20 seconds left. Let's set up with the Evo Tesla here. poison just to slow everything down. I can't lie, the poison plus the snowball and ice spirit, you're able to slow down so many pushes from your opponent. It just looks like it doesn't get anywhere, and that's going to be GG, well played, to finish off the video, guys. So those are the 5 most important decks I would recommend upgrading, and that I would definitely upgrade myself if I was in your shoes. So please try out these decks. Let me know what you guys think down below. But that's going to do it all for this one, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe if you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.